For nearly 2 decades, a shadowy figure haunted the United States, a ghost in the machine sending meticulously crafted bombs through the mail. He was known only by the cryptic FBI codename, the Unabomber. His campaign of terror targeted universities and airlines, striking fear into the heart of modern technological society. He was a phantom, leaving behind a trail of destruction, injury, and death, but never a face or a name. The FBI was engaged in one of the longest and most expensive manhunts in its history, a frustrating 17-year search for a man who seemed to exist only in the fragments of his deadly devices and the chilling letters he sent to the press. Then on April 3, 1996, it all came to a dramatic end, not in a bustling city, but in the remote wilderness of Montana, and not because of a brilliant piece of forensic evidence, but because of a gut-wrenching family decision. The story of the Unabomber's capture is as much about psychological depth and family tragedy as it is about a classic FBI manhunt. Let's rewind to the beginning of the end. In 1995, the Unabomber made a bold and ultimately fatal move. He sent a 35,000-word manifesto titled Industrial Society and Its Future to major newspapers, including the New York Times and the Washington Post. He offered a chilling ultimatum: publish my manifesto, and I will stop the bombings. This put the FBI and the US Attorney General in an unprecedented ethical dilemma. Should they give a platform to a terrorist, potentially inspiring copycats, or risk another deadly attack? After intense debate, they made the controversial decision to publish. They gambled that someone, somewhere, would recognize the unique writing style, the specific turns of phrase, the distinct ideology. It was a long shot, but it was their best hope. Across the country, thousands read the dense, anti-technology screed. But for one woman, Linda Patrick, the words on the page felt eerily familiar. She showed the manifesto to her husband, Ted Kaczynski. As David read, a terrible suspicion began to form in his mind. The ideas, the phrasing, even certain idiosyncratic expressions, sounded just like his estranged older brother, Ted. Ted Kaczynski was a brilliant but reclusive man, a former mathematics prodigy who had graduated from Harvard and earned a PhD from the University of Michigan before abruptly abandoning his promising academic career. He had retreated from the world, living a hermit's life in a tiny, self-built cabin in the remote woods of Lincoln, Montana, with no electricity or running water. David was tormented. Could the brother he knew, the brilliant but troubled recluse, be the monster the FBI had been hunting for 17 years? He searched through old family letters, comparing Ted's past writings to the Unabomber's manifesto. The parallels were undeniable. The same arguments against technology, the same peculiar phrasing, the same intellectual fingerprint. The weight of this discovery was immense. He loved his brother, but he also knew the horrific consequences of the Unabomber's actions. After agonizing over the decision, Ted Kaczynski, through an attorney, made the most difficult phone call of his life. He contacted the FBI. Initially, the FBI was skeptical. Over the years, they had chased down thousands of false leads. But David's information was different. It was specific, detailed, and came with supporting evidence. This was the break they had been waiting for. The FBI's Behavioral Analysis Unit had long profiled the Unabomber as a highly intelligent, academically oriented individual with a deep-seated grudge against modern society. Ted Kaczynski fit that profile perfectly. The investigation, which had spanned the entire country, now zeroed in on a single, tiny dot on the map, a 10-by-12-foot cabin in the Montana wilderness. The final stage of the operation had to be executed with extreme caution. The suspect was a known bomb maker. His isolated cabin could be booby-trapped. On April 3, 1996, a team of federal agents, posing as prospectors and land surveyors to avoid suspicion, surrounded the remote property. An agent approached the cabin and managed to lure Kaczynski out. The man who emerged was disheveled and gaunt, a far cry from the formidable phantom who had terrorized a nation. The arrest was swift and without incident. Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber, was finally in custody. When agents entered the cabin, they stepped into the Unabomber's lair, the very heart of his 17-year war. It was a haunting, almost medieval scene, crammed with books, journals written in code, and bomb-making materials. But most chillingly, they found a live, fully assembled bomb, ready to be mailed. They had caught him just in time. The cabin itself was a piece of evidence, a testament to his isolated existence and his singular obsession. Every tool, every nail, every handwritten note told a story. The FBI later meticulously dismantled the entire cabin and moved it to a secure facility, where it was reassembled and used as a key piece of evidence in his trial. Inside, They found over 40,000 pages of journals. These writings provided an unprecedented look into the mind of a domestic terrorist. They detailed his rage, his meticulous planning for each bombing, and his profound alienation from the world. He chronicled his experiments, his targets, and his cold, detached observations of the destruction he caused. It was the diary of a man who saw himself as a revolutionary, but whose actions were those of a serial killer. The journals revealed that his motivations were deeply personal, rooted in a feeling of failure and a desire for revenge against a system he felt had wronged him. The arrest sent shockwaves across America. The face of the Unabomber was finally revealed, not as a sophisticated criminal mastermind in a hidden lab, but as a hermit living in squalor. The man who railed against the dehumanizing effects of technology had used that very system, the US Postal Service and the national media, to deliver his own brand of terror. The story was a complex tapestry of genius and madness, of a national manhunt and a profound family tragedy. David Kaczynski, the man who turned in his own brother, was hailed as a hero, but he carried the heavy burden of his decision. He later donated the $1 million reward money to the victims' families. Ted Kaczynski was ultimately sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, bringing his reign of terror to a definitive end. The capture of the Unabomber remains one of the most compelling true crime stories of our time. It's a stark reminder of the dark places a brilliant mind can go, the incredible difficulty of hunting a phantom, and the extraordinary moral courage it can take to do the right thing, no matter the personal cost. The legacy of the Unabomber is not just in the terror he caused, but in the complex questions he left behind about society, technology, and the nature of justice itself. Thank you for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as we did, don't forget to like this video. Subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into history's most compelling cases and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. We'll see you in the next one.